Say kick her out. I want you to my youth.
Here, tell us on a stage. Girl, you better can't cook. Think you know you pay your pretty look. You want to live a restaurant and come done man bank book. Cook, recipe book. Why in the kitchen cause you and them no look. You better cook. Think you know you pay your pretty looks. You want to live a restaurant and come done man bank book. Cook, recipe book. Why in the kitchen cause you and them.
Okay, let's set this. Let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of Dean Unchained. I'm your host, E, aka Venom, aka Mr. Tell It Like It Is. As per usual on the show, we discuss the battles of mating from a male perspective. And today's episode will be a continuation from last week where we talked about mate selection, mating strategies, and how to seriously vet a partner for long-term marriage and everything else. Because we know today marriages or relationships are sort of microwaves, right? Put it there for 2 minutes, 2 months max, and everything's over. Right. Again, it might sound as if I'm repeating myself or over repeating myself, but one of the primary reasons why I have to emphasize, or I emphasize more on this topic, is because selecting a mate and someone to have children with for a man is one of the crucial decisions of his life, one of the most important decisions of his life, due to for one, that's how you're going to procreate, have your progeny, and that's how you're going to pass on your wealth, and that's how you're going to pass on your culture. And it is important that the woman that fits or plays this role is a woman that comes correct, a woman that fits certain criteria for the man. Because I know in today's day and age, men pretty much have very low standards. Okay, men pretty much have very low standards, and women have a laundry list of things that they require from men. But right before we dive into the subject, I just want to give everyone a brief rundown of a study I came across with regards to human sex ratio. You see, from birth, men and women are sort of the same. The ratio of men to women is pretty much the same. At times you find that it's 1 to 1, or is 1.3 to 1.3 males to maybe one female, etc., etc. But as we know, throughout life development, the mortality rate in men drastically increases. So you will have men that will fall off they will fall off the train, right? And it's due to various reasons. One is men do more risky jobs. Men have to go to war. They die in combat. You will have men that die due to cardiac arrest. They're more prone to health issues, and you'll have men that die due to suicide, right? So that's one part of it. That kind of drastically reduces the number of men in the world, reduces the male population. But now, when we move now to those that are eligible and qualify for marriage, women now, due to their nature, are very hypergamous. And when they select for a mate, they have certain criteria that they require the man, they have certain criterions that they require the man to fulfill. And that further filters down the number of eligible males for these women. Hence why you see the ratio of men to women drastically change from 1 to 1 to 1 to 20. Okay, there will be one man and there will be 20 women available on that site. That is just the basic maths of it. And plenty of women out there do not want to share their partner, and they supposedly think they're the ones that's special and they want to be monogamous, and not knowing that being monogamous and being a such and such comes with a lot of burden and things that you need to fulfill for the man. So women should be competing for men, and men in reality are the prize, and they are to be sought after, etc. Because in reality, the ratio of men to women is about I would say 1 to 20, right? Men to women, 1 to 20. But we're not going into those details because, so many girls are adamant about the fact that they don't want to share their man, they don't want to share their partner. But if you live in this climate, in the world that we live in, the reality that we live in, there's 20 women to one man, right? 20 women to one man. And also, um, the men that are capable or stable enough to provide for them financially, security, and parental presence are also very few when you add again those characteristics in there, because men that qualify and fit those criteria are in the minority. But again, for a man to select a woman, it's not all about looks. It's not all about um, it's not all about her having a big back. It's not all about having the tightest whatever it is. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's not all about that. And the same thing for women. It's not all about him being the flashiest, livest person out there, or him being I don't know, the wealthiest man in the area, right? Because all of that fades. If you're making your selection based on those criterias, you are bound to you're bound to disappoint yourself. For one, you're bound to disappoint yourself, and not only disappoint yourself, but you would also disappoint your children, which you ultimately want to be taken to be which you ultimately want them to be taken care of. You want them to have a good upbringing, etc. They grow up in a healthy cognitive and socio-economic environment, rather than destitute or deprived from a father or quote unquote a mother, right? So for guys, this is for the mandem. I know I went a little bit with a classic look. I'm not into it, like an office classic look, but still had to rock the chain, still had to rock the jewelry. Do you know what I mean? You got to keep it black. Right. So going into this now. So for a man, you can't go and actually, okay, us as men already, we lower our standards so much. Okay, we lower our standards so much. And last week I did touch on that a little bit because we talked about like certain group of black men that date like um fluffy Beckys or fluffy Chloes and stuff like that. And it's not that this men can't get they couldn't get like the top notch girl. Do you know what I mean? It's not that they couldn't get the top notch girl, or they couldn't get the 10 out of 10, the 9 out, do you know what I mean? The 9 out of 10, the 8 out of 10. No, they've most of them they've had that. Okay, but is that they know what the 9 out of 10 and the 10 out of 10 comes with, and when they're ready to settle down and have a family, they they presumably don't go for that particular outlook of women. They don't go for that particular type of woman because they know that type of woman is unable to provide various nurturing qualities that a mother has instinctively, right? So they don't go for those type of women because they know those type of women will want to continue in a certain type of lifestyle, which is constantly going out, constantly wanting to be the center of attention, constantly wanting to engage in alcohol, drinking, etc., 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 while other people look after their kids, right? And I'll be honest with you, man, them at a certain age, they just want to come yard after a long day shift, Do you know what I mean? Maybe man's been on a graveyard shift. They just want to come yard to a proper meal, um, a girl that's gonna help them de-stress, and yeah, and then they have a peaceful night to go back out there the next day and and challenge and face the obstacles that they need to face in order to win the bread for the family. Right. Um, I don't want to digress too much. Let's just go back into this topic of selection. And I'll say this to Mandem, because I talk about this all the time. Is if you are a man that you manage to achieve something for yourself, because as men we have to build our value, right? We're not born with it like women are. We're not born with value like women are. We are born man, and we have to create our value, and we're not considered in the world until we create our value, whether it is that you become a knowledgeable person, a wise man, a public speaker, or a wealthy and a successful entrepreneur. You have to have something to your name, because I'll be honest, because bro, no one will cater for you and no one will have your back. Okay, the system is not built to support men. Okay, the system or the world that we live in at present, the reality is not built to support men. Okay, so it's either you contribute to the society or you're left in the gutter, you'll be homeless, right? It's one of the two. So if you contribute to society, you get all the praises and the perks that come with that. But if you don't, you are you're literally left to fend for yourself, or you'll be homeless. And if you look at the homeless rates, they'll show that. Okay, the two correlates, right? So now back to the mating point. So don't select a woman based on her beauty. And as I was saying, if you're a man that have done well for yourself, you're um you're getting to the age of like 40, you're like in your mid 30s, let's say, right? You're in your mid 30s, um, and you've done well for yourself, right? And it's particularly it's very hard in the UK to, as a black man, and I'll speak on that, as a black man, to successfully um to successfully jump the hurdles and get something to your name. It's already hard enough as a man, right? But then as a man of color, it's a man of uh you know and everything else, it is extremely hard. Okay, and once you, as a man of color, finally get your I'll say get your foot past the door, right? Where you're in that, I would say you're in that bracket of the top 20 or 15% of men that are making that kind of money, but you that making over six figure and above, you should not, I repeat, even if you're 40 or in your mid you so in your mid 30s or 40, you should not date or try to wife a girl that's in her I would say you shouldn't try to wife a girl that's about to hit the wall, right? I don't care how much shame, insult, guilt, and need to be right women try to come at you with. Oh, you're going there because it's the easy target. You're going there because it's this, because it's that. Sorry, men and women share a different prime. Okay, men and women share a different prime. A man's prime comes later in life. A woman's prime comes earlier in life. And a woman that's not willing to do um to to do the grind, to do the time with you, the grinding bits, when you are at your how can I say it? When you are essentially in the mud trying to get it. Do you know what I mean? You're in the dark, you're trying to grow and everything else. You probably don't have much to, pardon me, you probably don't have much to your name, and you're out there trying to, trying to pedal or climb the corporate ladder and everything else, right? This is the time where if you decide to put yourself with a woman and she's 21, 23, and yeah, and she's 21, 23, she's at her peak, right? She's at her peak because men and women have different primes. I would say a different, was that different prime or different? Yeah, different prime. They have different peaks in life. Okay, the woman's peak comes earlier in life. The man's peak come later in life, right? So now you are, let's say you're both, you're probably 5 years older, because women they always want to date a bit older or taller or stronger than them or more financially or more ambitious than them. Okay, because that's how they mate, right? Which is what we talked in previous episodes of when we described hypergamy in women, right? So if she's not willing to get with you at her prime, then when you get to your prime, she will be about to hit the wall. And there's no point of you trying to date someone that's already, or wife someone that's already hit the wall. Okay? Someone that's already set in her ways, someone that's already, sorry to say this again, someone that's already been ran through. Okay? Someone that's already been the town's bicycle, someone that's already acquired tons and plenty of life experiences where nothing else impresses her. Do you know what I mean? And I'll take you a very prime example, which is, for example, let's say you're dating, you're in your mid-30s, right? And you're dating a woman that's mid-30s as well, or, mid-30s or slightly younger, right? Now let's say you take her for a trip to Paris, or you take her, yeah, you say, oh, let's go see the Eiffel Tower, that kind of stuff, right? Romantic trip to Paris. For a girl that's just hit her peak, this would be something this would be something very romantic for her. Okay, she's probably, for one, never done it, and for two, she's never, even if she's done it, she's probably done it as a school trip. She's never done it with a romantic partner, right? So her going to Paris would be something magnanimous. Would be something like, wow. Do you know what I mean? It would be like a monumental trip with her romantic partner to Paris. So she will feel enchanted, like literally, right? She will feel all over the moon and everything else, and then she'll be really appreciative of that. Even if she doesn't say it, you will see it in her action, you will see it in her face, how content she is and pleased, all of that. But if you take a partner that's in her early 30s and mid-30s, boy, she's probably already done that trip, right? She's probably already done that trip with an ex, and all you'll be getting is flashbacks, and you'll be getting weird. All she will be getting is flashbacks of maybe a time that she's been there with a romantic partner, a previous romantic partner, which was not you. She try and contrast the two situations, which is better. All that silly contrast and silly comparison, right? She'll try and put the two together. She might end up being in a foul mood. She might not be appreciative. And you're thinking to yourself, bro, I'm doing all these actions. I expect some reciprocity, at least some acknowledgement of this grand gesture that I've just done, right? I expect some, like, this is a massive romantic gesture for me, because it's not every it's not every girl I take to Paris, right? It's not every girl I take to Paris. But because she's already had that life experience, to her now that means nothing, and she's showing signs of ungratefulness, right? She's showing signs. Blah, I can't speak anymore. She's showing signs of ungratefulness without even realizing that she's doing it. Right? She doesn't even realize that she's showing signs of ungratefulness, and you're there thinking, "Oh, okay, fair enough." Do you know what I mean? But that is because those things have already built, right? Those things have already built, and you will take steps and steps and steps, and you will take it will take you to do more things in order to impress her or anything else. And girls that know that they're hitting the wall and they're already hitting the wall or have already hit the wall, they will try their utmost best to shame men. And this is what they do. They will try their utmost best to shame men. And it's sad to see because there is actually some men in the world today, not simps, not whatever it is. There's some men today, even those that call themselves, so call themselves alpha males or the man in the manosphere, they will literally tell you, "Oh no, do you know what I mean, mate? If she's if she's 21, she's too young for you. If she's wait, sorry, do you actually know that there was a study that was done? There was a study that was carried out on men aged um 21 to about, I think 21 to about 60. I'm not too sure on the large number there. 21 to about 60, and the women most attractive to men from that age range were women between the age of 21 and 20 and 26. But you will have some people that will highlight, they will call you the P word, um, call you all sorts of sexual predator names. Do you know what I mean? In an attempt to shame you for your for your preference and for what you can get. They will attempt to shame you and and insult you for what you can get. If you've worked hard for it, now you're at your peak. You deserve to get someone at your peak. And I'll also double down on that because um I've also noticed something with the maturity or the sense of awareness of women in general in the West. Uh, most of these women aren't self-aware or of what's going on in the day-to-day in the world, right? Most of them aren't aware. Most of them aren't aware, and it starts from what age? From 18 to about I'll say to about, yeah, end of their 30s when they're about to hit 40. Most of them aren't aware of anything. Most of them are very self-centered and selfish and egotistical, right? Me, myself, and I sort of attitude. Me, myself, and I. Most of them aren't aware. So, what is the point of you saying? Because a lot of men go through this dilemma of thinking, saying, "Oh my God, maybe I should get someone who already has life experiences, so I don't have to teach them so much. Maybe I should get someone that's on my frequency, that's on my same level of intellect, so I don't have to teach them so much. Maybe I should get someone that already understands the world, right? So I don't have to explain or try to teach or coach them so much." And I'll tell you why that's wrong, okay? Because the women that are about to hit the wall, they're in their mid 30s or end of their 30s and all of that, they still think like the woman that's 18. They still think like the woman that's 23. Okay? Still think they're the price. Still think their shit don't stink. Still think a man's supposed to bow down at their feet. But I'm here to tell you, like I've said from the beginning, there's more women in the world than men, and beauty is more common than successful and stable. Beauty is more common than successful and stable men, etc., etc. So the fewer the fewer the men, the more the women. Therefore, the women have to compete for the men. Okay, because if every man that's at the eligible age of getting married and has some financial stability was to get married to a single partner, there will still be plenty of women left to themselves, and there will be pretty much cat ladies, right? So let's just get that fact cemented, right? Let's just get that fact cemented right in there. You do not, you do not need to get a woman that is older to compensate for having to teach the younger or having to get the younger one on your program up to speed. Okay? You do not need to do that. It's like a company, for example, it's like a company thinking of hiring a potential candidate, right? They've got an opening, they've got an open role, and then two candidates come present themselves. One is a candidate with a lot of experience on their CV, okay? And people that do certain hiring decisions, people that work in HR will be able to relate to this because they've probably seen plenty of candidates come around with those specs on their CV, but they can't back it up, right? So you get a candidate that comes in, two candidates that come in. You've got one who's a junior, you've got one who's a supposedly senior, right? Loads of experience on their CV to back it up, like, oh yeah, I've been here, I've dated this guy, I've had this life experiences, but they kept on repeating the same mistakes, right? They come with their CV. They've done like 3 months at each company. 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, maximum 6 months, right? Which is the sort of microwave relationships there is today. So you look at the junior candidate CV, you see that, oh damn, there is practically nothing. The guy's like seeking experience, right? Seeking experience. All right, seeking experience, willing to work and grow with the company, etc., etc., etc. And you look at the senior candidate, the older one, oh, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 6 months, all the blah 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 experience. You get both in, you try to interview, you see that intellectually and experience wise on the job, the senior candidate thinks exactly the same like the junior candidate. So what's your best bet when you look at it from a long run? What's your best bet? The best bet is, no, I'm going to go with the junior candidate because at least I can train this candidate, whereas this one, senior candidate, extremely volatile and unreliable, right? Extremely volatile, unreliable. And furthermore, despite all those years of experience of 3 months everywhere, this candidate still thinks like the junior candidate. So long run, I will get more for my buck if I put my money on the junior candidate, right? And I will grow with the junior candidate. And I'll use this other example for the man them that watch football. You see one of your best clubs, and I'll go with mine, Arsenal, loyal fan. Do you know what I'm saying? We lost today, 4-0 to Liverpool, but don't watch that. Ateta, you need to do better. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, going back to going back to the football example, right? You see a club, banging club. They're doing mad numbers. They're trying to win. They're trying to win best games, and they have old players in the team, and they obviously need to bring some fresh legs in the club, right? They look on the market. They see people like what's some of the oldest players right now? Yeah, they see someone like Chiellini, right? That the Italian done. They see someone like Chiellini, and they see someone like what's his name? Is that Nuno Gomez or something like that, right? So they see someone Chiellini and they see Gomez. They're thinking, wow, Chiellini is old. He's got a lot of experience, right? Actually, Bun Chiellini. Let's go with Sergio Ramos, right? They see Sergio Ramos. They're thinking this guy has lots of experience. He's played for all the big teams, Real Madrid, this, that. What club is PSG now? Although he hasn't played a game yet, but do you know what I'm saying? They're thinking, no, if we get this guy in our team, he'll be good, right? But how long will it be good for, right? That's what the gaffer is thinking. The gaffer is thinking, no, I want him to play 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 seasons with the club, okay? But guess what? He's already old, okay? Man's about to hit the wall, right? So the gaffer thinks, nah, I will go with someone like Gomez because one, he's younger, and if I pay for him, I will get more for my buck than I will get for Sergio Ramos, because yes, he's an old defender, he's an experienced defender, but his legs are tired. So he's going to play maybe he's going to probably have one good season or perhaps get injured, and all that money would have been spent for nothing. Okay? So it's the same thing. The same thing, man. Them. So I know a lot of guys out there are like, yeah, I'd rather go with experience than having to coach. Bro, bun that. Okay? Bun that. Stick with your prime instinct, because the natural biology in men requires them and pushes them to go for younger because of fertility. She's more fertile, because of beauty, because of ability to grow into life and pass on your culture. Like we were talking the other day about lineage and women being the cultural carriers in the relationship or the nuclear family unit, right? So those are one of the reasons. Now, for women, I'll give a good tip out there for the ladies. So, do not, for the ladies that think to themselves, I don't want to share a man. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be in a polygamy. I don't want to be polyamorous. I don't want to have any of this, right? Yes. Your best bet would be to get with a man when he's still at his ambitious stage, right? The best bet is to get with a man when he's still at that stage, because then you see he's on his drive, he's on his way, and all you could do is get on his program, get on the journey. And when you get on the journey, what you do pretty much is you motivate, inspire, and cater for him. Okay? And then now when he gets that to his peak, you've solidified your position. Okay? You've solidified your position. And I would say, you always be in the lineup. Doesn't matter what happens. You always be in the lineup. So you've cemented your spot. So right there, even if you're coming back from injury, you still get to play full 90 minutes. Right? It's always you. You will always come first. And men, I don't even know how to say this without women coming at me. Men are the most loyal creatures. The most loyal creatures of the human species. Men are the most loyal creatures of the human species. That's pretty much a big reason why man them will be like, bruh, I don't want to take stuff from people for free. Because if I take stuff for free, my nature as a man, my nature as a man, my nature as a man that requires loyalty and everything else will in turn just, I mean, it's like you're naturally programmed to the point where you think you owe that person something, and you will pledge your allegiance or loyalty to that person. That's essentially how it is, right? So women, no, don't look at the wealth. Choose healthy relationships over wealthy relationships. I'll repeat that again. Choose healthy relationships over wealthy relationships. It's okay. You see the common memes that go around. Oh, I'll rather cry in a Benz. I'll rather cry in a double R than cry in a Honda Civic. I'll rather cry in a Lambo than cry on the bus. Yeah, but that's why you got it all messed up. That's why you got it all messed up. Because yes, you would rather cry in a Lambo or in a double R, but what are the consequences of that? Right? What are the consequences of that? You after you cry, what you end up, you break up from that relationship, and to find a man that's gonna put you in another double R or another Lambo, extremely difficult, right? You become what? You don't become unattainable for a man. Men just don't want to deal with you, right? No man just want to deal with you, and you become a cat lady. Okay, you become a cat lady, a dog mom, all of that. So healthy relationships over wealthy relationships. So get with a man that's on his ambition, on his way on his way to his ambition, and then stay with him throughout the period. But what you find most of it nowadays is that no, women don't want to suffer. You see thousands of quotes online about this. Thousands of quotes, thousands of memes. Oh, why should I suffer? I wasn't born to suffer. Over my dead body, I wasn't born to suffer. Bruh. So do you think any man with any sense that listen to this program is going to be checking for you when he's made it to the top? And if he checks for you, do you think he's going to check for you as a permanent partner? Or you played yourself? You played yourself. If he's gonna check for you, he's gonna check for you as in, oh yeah, these are the Barclays Santander bikes. All right, someone rode it, parked it. Let me take a ride and see what I want. Cause I seen a couple of naked pics of this bike online. So you know what I'm saying? It looks good. I want to take a ride on it. If he wants to take a ride, he's done riding it, he'll park it. Once he's done riding it, he's park it. And all you become is just um what are those ladies that write the novels or the books about, oh yeah, I slept with the basketball players. I slept with this. So what? So what? I mean, I don't want to use the word prostitute, but yeah, you're just a sex worker that decides to put it in a book. And you're actually a bad sex worker if you're still young and still in the game, because none of them, no one else will be checking for you because you're out there putting their business, because most people will go to sex workers due to the discretion and privacy which they offer with their services, right? So you're actually playing yourself. But we all know that the ultimate goal for every woman, whether she openly says it or not, whether um, she openly declares it or not, is that they want to have a family, because that is the primary predicator of happiness in a woman, having a family, having children and a family of her own. And if you don't have that, yeah, that's cool. And you could do what this some of these celebrities women do, which is um from birth they're they're actually oppressed children. Okay, they actually oppress children from birth. And I'll back that up by saying this. um for any woman out there that's thinking, I will have a child without marriage, and most of the time you find, yeah, there's a female reproductive rights, and there's no man's reproductive right, and there's no children reproductive right, because somehow in the West, they think a child that's born, an infant, has no rights. Okay, and I'll tell you guys this is false. And there's several religious texts to back this. Right, every child, again, every child that's born is born with rights. And the right that child has on both of his parents is that they are together. That's that child's right. Okay? The child's right is that he's born in a two-parent home. The child didn't ask to be born. So when you lot were doing the bedroom gymnastics, he didn't ask for it. So if he comes as a consequence, or as a result of the bedroom gymnastics, whether it was planned or unplanned, now that child has a right upon both parents. And the child's right is that the parents are together for his upbringing. You two can part ways when he reaches the age of maturity, but from that time of birth, it is his God-given right that you two are together in order for him to have a fair chance in the world, in order to have better cognitive orientation when growing up in and having a better socio-economic advantage in the world, better education, etc., etc., etc. Right? And you will see, you will come to see, when you look again statistically, and I know a lot of women hate stats and facts and all of that jazz, but if you look statistically, right, most of the people in the world that commit like the foulest of atrocities, which if it's raping, if it's being predators, being serial killers, etc., are people that originated from single parent homes. People that originate from single parent homes. They grew up in a dysfunctional household. So, anyways, I'll just wrap it up here because I'm trying to keep all this podcast as short as possible. I don't want them to be too lengthy, etc., etc. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, my YouTube views kind of go down. So that's for today. In summary, guys, go for a woman that is, for one, she's younger and she fits certain criteria of instinctively being nurturing, caretaking, and being your peace. And no, don't go for the older, because despite the experience and everything else, she still thinks like the 21 years old. Okay, she still thinks like the 21 years old, and it's a bad bet if you invest in that, because she don't have much time left on her clock anyway, whereas this one does. Okay, so that's all I'm saying. Go with the younger model, not the older one. Right, for the women, try not to go for the looks also, or the wealth. Try to go for someone, yes, who's ambitious, who's ambitious, religious, God-fearing, whatever you want to call it. Do you know what I mean? And then support him on his journey, on his grind, inspire him and care, and inspire him, support, and cater for him. All right. That's all for me. I was your host, E. This was the Dean Unchained podcast. Peace.